But I just have a very simple message to everybody here, all the heroes who are watching, those survivors who won't give up, won't go away, won't abandon this effort. You are making a difference. You are making a difference. Never doubt it. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act is because of you. The progress that we will make, I have no doubt we're going to make progress over the time to come, is because of you.
Last night was indeed moving, a difficult night, but a very important night. A night when we pay honor to both the victims, but also to survivors, to family members and friends who are still with us today. I maybe say a version of this every single year, but it bears repeating. I just cannot understand the kind of energy, the kind of courage that it takes to both be dealing with a grief that I cannot understand and at the same time decide to speak truth to power, decide to come all the way down here to Washington, D.C. And tell your story.
Most importantly, thank you to all of you who make this trek year in and year out to do what has to be done. When I was making the trek this morning, I was sort of thinking to myself, this is the worst and the best of the get-togethers that we do, and it's the worst because you can't hear a single one of these stories represented by the photographs of the victims up here without being horrified, immobilized, enraged. You can't reflect on what happened at Sandy Hook just 10 miles north of my district 11 years ago without being enraged.
The gun grabbers are losing at the federal level, and they know it. So now they're going back to the grassroots and pushing legislation at the state level. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms entering certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel-like content, what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. And once again, my PSA for my Connecticut residents. If you plan on getting your Connecticut pistol permit, please get that training done before July 2024, because after that, it's longer, harder, and more expensive for no other reason than disincentivize you, the law-abiding public, from actually going through the process to get your permit in order to buy a firearm. If you have your permit, please pay attention to that expiration date. Don't let it expire. If you let it expire, you're going to have to do new training requirements. Also, get the word out. Word of mouth. Just let people know. Let's talk about this. Now, as you saw in the little opening there, that was the anniversary of Sandy Hook. And of course, the usual gaslighters and exploiters and charlatans came out to speak out against gun violence, because gun violence is the only problem we have in this country. It's amazing. These people, I find these people to be disgusting. You celebrate the anniversary of Sandy Hook every year. But notice we don't celebrate the anniversary of the Murrah Building bombing. We don't celebrate the anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. We don't celebrate the anniversary of Marin Sanchez's death. We don't celebrate the anniversary of the Pettit family being slaughtered in their home. Why not? Because those people don't fit their agenda. They don't care. This is not about your damn safety, period. It's about them and their agenda and using the dead as a, don't cuss, a political football to get them to get what they want. Now, what is happening, and you heard me talk about this before, I mentioned that the Biden administration has set up an office for the Prevention of Gun Violence, which is a federal idea. And they had a meeting and called in anti-gun legislators from all around the country to come to Washington, D.C. on your dime to then meet to discuss gun violence, which in reality, we know what was going on. They gathered together to discuss how they can basically ban weapons from the hands of civilians. That's basically what the gist of their whole meeting was about. I want to come into here. I want to thank these like AmmoLand and Shooting Sports News and all these people for getting this stuff out there, because it's good to know what these people, otherwise you wouldn't have heard about this. But Biden's anti-gun allies identified list of Dem lawmakers pushing agenda. Now, the names of nearly 100 Democrat state legislators from 39 states who attended the December 13th White House conference held by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention amounts to a roster of gun control advocates to which Second Amendment activists should cling in preparation for the 2024 elections. This correspondent twice requested the list from the White House, but there was no reply either time. However, the liberal-oriented website News from the State has posted the complete list online. It comes as the Bangor, Maine Daily News is reporting that only 16 of that state's 185 lawmakers responded to a newspaper survey that asked how they would use their influence to make reforms to Maine gun laws in reaction to the Lewistown mass shooting in October. Now, let's talk about Maine for just a split second because I want to show you something about Maine. Maine, per capita, has the highest gun ownership rate in the country. And Maine also has the lowest per capita gun deaths by firearms. They have more guns and they have less gun violence across the country. So what gun control law is going to change the face of that because of one event? Somehow we used to be a lot tougher, but however, several Maine legislators attended the White House event. They are Reps Kristen Cloutier, Margaret Craven, Victoria Dudera, House Speaker Rachel Talbot Ross, House Majority Leader Maureen Terry, and Senators Ann Carney, Peggy Rotundo, and Joe Rafferty. I gotta get one simp in there. The Biden-Harris administration has invited 100 state legislators to the event, which outlined Joe Biden's goals for 2024 at the state level. Translation: the gun prohibition movement, even with Biden in Oval Office, has failed, is stalled on Capitol Hill, and is not faring well in the courts, so he's going back to the state level. The administration's 8-page Safer States agenda, safer communities, safer states, can you not see the gaslighting, includes the following recommendations, which will likely be showing up on one form or another as legislative sessions begin to resume in January. Establish a state office of gun violence prevention, which the federal government is going to fund at your expense. Invest in evidence-informed solutions to prevent and respond to gun violence. Gun bans. Strengthen support for survivors and victims of gun violence. Allow them to sue gun manufacturers. Reinforce responsible gun ownership. Take guns from law-abiding citizens. Strengthen gun background checks. Hold the gun industry accountable. Let's sue them out of business. That's what all that means. And then here's the roster of people who attended. Me being in Connecticut, I recognize these people. Staffstrom is an anti-gun weasel. Period. He will sign off on and support any law that takes guns from law-abiding. When it comes to crime, he's wishy-washy. But when it comes to taking guns from people, oh, he's all on board. But I know these people. And then you can go through the list. You can check your state, see who showed up for this thing. Okay? But Second Amendment grassroots activists should start paying attention now to pre-filed gun control bills and compare the names of the sponsors to the names on the above list. For example, as ML Newsland reported back in December 12th, Washington State Rep. Liz Berry is sponsoring House Bill 1902, mandating a permit to purchase firearms with a proof of safety training requirement. So let me come out of that. So that's exactly what they're doing. They see the writing on the wall. Federal level, they're getting nothing. The courts are going against them just about every step of the way. The courts are turning against their gun control bills. So they're going to the state level now because states such as Connecticut can just about pass every anti-gun bill they want. And that's the problem with a one-party leadership that's been in power for too long. You get that kind of result. So now they're pushing state legislators to push anti-gun bills at the state level because if they pass them at the state level, it takes forever to get it through the courts. If they pass gun control at federal level, it's a lot quicker. You're already at the federal level. So that's the game right now. As we have lawsuits all over the country, California, Connecticut, Maryland, every state I can think of has some kind of lawsuit going against a gun control bill that the state legislature passed. So we should be paying attention. Unfortunately, my Connecticut residents, you are behind the 8 ball on this because we are pathetically blue. The people in the state of Connecticut, for the most part, in the majority, will vote for any fool as long as they got a D next to their name. And we have examples of that. But pay attention to what's going on in your state and make sure you know who's pushing what. Check that list. See who's on there. Start your own movement against them to vote them out of office. That's the only way you can make change that's positive. And to these people who claim that they want to make, changes to prevent gun violence, okay, you want to prevent gun violence. I say we need to prevent violence and crime in general, but seeing that you're focused only on gun violence, let's discuss that. First of all, you need to start holding people accountable for what they do and stop slapping people on the wrist and send them right back out in society. You commit a crime with an illegal stolen gun, you get 5 years immediately. No questions asked, no plea bargaining, nothing. Boom, you're going to jail for 5 years. You're going to jail for 5 years, period. You commit a crime with that gun, not only are you getting the 5 years, you're getting the crime on top of it. You kill somebody with that gun, you're going to get double that time. I'm not talking about 10 years, I'm talking about murder plus 5. Double murder plus 5. You straw purchase a gun to somebody that you know for a fact is not allowed to have that firearm. You buy it knowing that that person is not legally able to own that firearm, and that person commits a crime with it, you get charged the same crime as they do. You give straw purchase the gun to somebody and they kill somebody, you get charged with murder. Watch how fast people stop doing that. Just saying. But I'm not going to advocate for gun bans. Gun bans do not make people safer. It just blows my mind I have to say it. But unfortunately, I think cognitively, reasonably, and logically. And there's the issue. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.